Republican Senator Rand Paul. Senator Paul, welcome back to Meet the Press, sir.
Good morning.
You know, during the campaign, you lamented the fact that when you got into the race, you were doing things like speaking at Howard, trying to expand the tent of the Republican Party and try to beat back this stereotype about the Republican Party. And you lamented at the time the language candidate Trump has used. As president, when he's gone down these roads, you've actually pulled back and you've not gone after him for specific comments. You've hit him on policy, but not comments. Where are you on this?
You know, I don't think the comments were constructive at all, but I also think that, to be fair, we shouldn't draw conclusions that he didn't intend. I know personally about his feelings towards Haiti and towards Central America because when I was not a candidate for president and he wasn't a candidate for president, I went down there on a medical mission trip. I did about 200 cataract surgeries with a group of surgeons in Haiti and the same in Central America. And when we asked Donald J. Trump as a private citizen to support those trips, he was a large financial backer of both medical mission trips. So I think it's unfair to sort of draw conclusions from a remark that I think wasn't constructive, is the least we can say. And I think it's unfair then to sort of all of a sudden paint him, oh, well, he's a racist, when I know for a fact that he cares very deeply about the people in Haiti because he helped to finance a trip where we were able to get vision back for 200 people in Haiti.
I guess, though, are you more disturbed, though, by the comment? It's less about the vulgarity and more that he seemed to say, why can't we have immigrants from Norway as opposed from African countries? No, look, people, I tell you this, many non-white Americans hear, oh, so he wants white people, not black people.
Right. But I think people jumped a little bit to a conclusion. Let's take the whole scenario and put different words in there. And let's say we'd rather have people from economically prosperous countries than economically deprived countries. Or we realize that there are more problems in economically deprived countries. Therefore, there's a bigger impetus for them to want to come. And then it wouldn't have been so controversial. There still might have been some controversy, but it wouldn't have been so much. What I can say is that if you do a poll, and one of the worldwide polling companies did this, and they asked people in 50 countries, would you like to come to America? It's about 700 million would come next year. We would double our population. Right. So practically, we're a great place, and practically we do have to eliminate it. And if you look at where they'd rather come from, if you live in a very, very poor, economically distressed country, you're more likely to want to come than if you live in England or Norway.
That's the story of the United States.
So when he says that, it confuses.
That's the story of the United States, right?
He confused it. Say again?
That's the story of our country.
It is the story of our country, but what I'm saying is you can see why there are more people wanting to come from economically distressed areas and they can't all come. So it gets into the valid, legitimate debate over immigration as to how do we choose? Do we have a diversity lottery and take people from everywhere? Do we base it more on merit? So there are a lot of questions that this ultimately intersects with policy. And the only thing I regret from all of this, other than I think some people in the media have gone completely bonkers with, just ad hominem on the president. But what I regret is I do want to see an immigration compromise. Right. And you can't have an immigration compromise if everybody's out there calling the president a racist. They're actually destroying the setting, and he was a little bit of it, but both sides now are destroying the setting in which anything meaningful can happen on immigration.
And that's where I want to segue. You said the word merit. The president this morning in a tweet said, I, as president, want people coming into our country who are going to help us become strong and great again, people coming in through a system based on merit, no more lotteries. But define merit. And I sit there and is merit political asylum? Is merit running away from poverty? What is merit? Because that is a eye of the beholder word, sir.
I think so, but I think for a lot of it's intent to work and people who want to work, and there are jobs of all different knowledge and skill levels. So, for example, if you're a software engineer and you've got a PhD and you've gone to one of our universities, those are the kind of people who say, oh my goodness, let's staple a green card to their diploma. Sure, those are easy. But we also need people to pick tomatoes and to work in the agricultural sector, and there's merit to that also. If you come here and you're not going to work, you have no merit. So really what I would do is I would combine not only being selective, but I would have a very significant work and sponsorship. In the old days, maybe 100 years ago, like when my wife's grandmother came here, you had to work. If you didn't work, you were in fear of being sent home. There needs to be a little bit of that tough love, so we select out for people who have strong work ethic. And I would say, by the way, most immigrants who do come here have maybe better work ethic than even some of those who are already here.
Well, that's actually usually been the case when it comes to first-generation immigrants. But let me ask you something, though. You seem to say that Democrats have to stop calling the president names. Doesn't the president, though, owe an apology for some of this? Because, you know, look, Mia Love, the daughter of Haitian immigrants, she wants an apology.
Right.
And he hasn't issued one.
But I'll tell you, there are two different standards here. In 2013, Lindsey Graham said the exact same thing the president did, but he used the word hellhole. That we can't have everybody coming from every hellhole on the planet to here. And now everybody thinks Lindsey Graham's a great statesman because he's put out this thing about American ideals and stuff, which was a good statement. But he said almost the identical thing to the president in 2013. So I think we have a selective remembering, and we've decided that, and people have.
But wait. Hasn't the president earned? But Senator, hasn't the president earned this skepticism on his own? I mean, he's the one tweeting these remarks.
He hasn't. He has often not helped his case. And I think if he were to further explain or try to explain and maybe not use such coarse language, it wouldn't be this way. If we were to have a debate over whether or not we can have an open border with every economically deprived country, that is a valid debate. And people are driven here by poverty, but we can't have an open border with everyone who wants to come. We end up having to have rules on our border, and we have to be somewhat selective on who comes. So I think there was a valid argument in there, but you got sort of Queen saltiness coming out. And then I think people have misinterpreted it that he's a racist. But I can tell you that when I went to Haiti and was doing a medical mission trip, he was very concerned about those in Haiti and wanted to help them to restore their vision.
I want to ask you where you are on the various compromises that are out there. I'll put up a quick graphic. There's a difference between the compromise bill in the Senate. Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin were the two people presenting this compromise there. That's on the left. Additional money for border security, citizenship for Dreamers. Dreamers' parents would be protected, but no citizenship. Diversity lottery ended, but those slots reallocated. Can you support something like that, or do you think that's too open borders for your taste?
I can support a compromise. And in fact, I've been offering to the Democrats a compromise for about 6 months that they've turned their head and sniffed at and said, oh, no, we don't have to give up anything. We're just going to get what we want. My compromise all along was those who are here, the kids that came here, their parents brought them here illegally, we could internally immigrate them, but just count them against the normal totals. So like next year, 1 million people will come. And if you had 200,000 Dreamer kids, have 1 million minus 200,000 come next year, and we count the 200,000 as part of the million that would have come anyway. That way your immigration totals aren't going up, they're staying the same, and you're internally immigrating people who are already here. I think that's a compromise. But the Democrats have sort of sniffed at that and said, oh, no, we want just, our Dreamer Act without anything. But now I think the president has changed the dynamic. There is going to be the Dreamers are going to get naturalized, but there's going to have to be something for border security. And it has to be real and it has to be significant, because a lot of people, going all the way back to '86, we doubt when people said there's going to be border security, it's going to come later. It never comes.
That is an argument we have heard for a long time, Senator Paul. I appreciate that. And it's going to be perfect timing because I'll get somebody from the other side of the aisle to respond to that. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your views, sir. And from the other side of that